When the soul speaks, it doesn't use words, it uses signs. You ever feel him before you see him? Like you're washing dishes or walking through the aisles of Target and suddenly, boom, his face flashes in your mind. Not because you were thinking about him, but because he was thinking about you. Then your phone lights up, his name, his message, or you scroll past something on social media that hits you so personally, it's almost eerie. My friends, that's not coincidence, that's connection. Now listen, if you've ever experienced those moments, I need you to do two things right now. Press that like button and hit subscribe. Not because of some algorithm, but because I'm putting my heart, my research, my late nights, and my soul into every word of this. And if this speaks to you, then join this community of women who feel deeply, love fiercely, and are done playing small. Hey ladies, imagine this. Two pianos sitting in the same room, one untouched, the other being played. And yet when you strike a key on one, the exact same string vibrates on the other. No one touches it, no sound from it, but it moves. That's called sympathetic resonance. And that, my friends, is exactly what happens when two people are emotionally, energetically, spiritually connected. You think it's just, he called me after I thought about him. No, it's vibration, it's memory. It's the soul echoing across invisible strings. Because when he feels something for you that's real, his energy doesn't ask permission to reach you, it just does. This is what Carl Jung called synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence. Two unrelated events happening at the exact same time that make too much sense to be random. He thought of you felt it, you remembered him, he messaged, you pulled away, he got quiet too. See, Jung didn't believe in chance, he believed in symbolic connections, and in his view, the unconscious mind, the deepest part of us, doesn't work with logic. It speaks in symbols, in emotion, in image. That means if you're dreaming about him, feeling him, hearing his name, and catching those weird moments where everything aligns, it's not in your head, it's in your field. Because when two people have an emotional charge between them, whether it's new, recent, or unspoken, that charge doesn't disappear just because no one texts. The energy is still moving, still shaping, still trying to find a way to be seen. Now today we're going deep, not surface deep, not here's a cute tip to make him text you deep. I'm talking soul level, goosebump giving, I knew I wasn't crazy deep. We're unpacking 10 powerful signs that you and this man are not just crushing on each other, but resonating in real time. Signs that you're thinking about him, and he's thinking about you at that exact same moment. Whether he's showing it or hiding it, your energy already knows. But let me be clear, this isn't about games, this is about gravity, the kind of connection that pulls two people into orbit without either of them lifting a finger, the kind that moves under the surface like a river under frozen ice. So if you've ever felt something so real, so unexplainable, that it made you stop mid-sentence or wake up with your heart racing, stay with me. Because this is where logic ends and feminine power begins. And remember, press like, subscribe, and share this with a woman who's done second-guessing what she feels, because we're not here to chase love, we're here to recognize it. When it shows up in silence, symbols, and soul. Number 1, sudden emotional shifts without cause. The body knows what the heart hasn't admitted yet. That's not just a poetic idea, my friends. That's emotional truth wrapped in skin. Let's talk about it. One moment you're fine, balanced, focused, maybe you're halfway through your iced coffee, checking off your to-do list, feeling centered and strong, and then, bam, a shift, a wave, a heaviness, or a sudden rush of warmth in your chest that feels like sunlight after rain. No warning, no reason, just there. You weren't thinking about him, but somehow he's in you now. Not logically, not consciously, but energetically. You feel it in your stomach first, or maybe your chest tightens. A random memory of him walks through your mind like it owns the place. Maybe you even feel your mood shift. Your music suddenly sounds different, your breathing changes, the air feels heavier or lighter, and you're left wondering, where did that come from? Am I just imagining things, okay? Why does it feel like he's here even though he's nowhere near me? That's the moment we're talking about. That's not just mood, that's a message. Carl Jung called this kind of invisible but undeniable experience emotional resonance. When two people are emotionally tied, whether it's love, longing, confusion, tension, those feelings don't live in isolation. They echo, they travel, they vibrate through what Jung referred to as the collective unconscious, a shared emotional field that exists beneath logic, beneath ego, beneath all the noise. Think of it like this: you're a tuning fork. So is he. And even if he's miles away, when something shakes in his soul hard enough, yours starts to ring too. Not because you're obsessed, not because you're broken, but because you're connected. Let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about someone intensely only to feel an emotion before the thought even arrived? Like your body knew he was on your mind before your brain caught up? That's not fantasy. That's intuition on fire. And yet, here's what most women do in that moment. They brush it off. They explain it away, they distract themselves, because we've been taught to ignore the invisible, to trust logic more than knowing, to silence the part of us that feels. But not you, not anymore, because what you're experiencing is sacred, and I need you to stop running from it, my friends. When that sudden wave hits, don't rush to label it. Don't panic. Don't text him in a flurry or try to fix the silence. Just be still. Let it rise. Let it speak. Let it settle. That emotional shift, it's a signal. It's your soul picking up a frequency that hasn't been verbally sent, but energetically received. Because here's the thing. When two people have shared real moments, the energy doesn't die. It lingers. It hums. It waits. And sometimes, when he's in his head battling emotions he doesn't know how to express, your body feels it first. That ache, that warmth, that tingle in your spine for no reason at all, that might not be yours. That might be him. Jung once said, "The unconscious is not just individual, it is collective." So trust me when I say, you're not crazy, you're connected. But your power isn't in reacting, it's in receiving. Your presence, your stillness, your grounded awareness, that's your magnetism. You don't have to chase anything. Your soul already heard the signal. So the next time you feel it, that sudden emotional shift that makes no sense, don't fight it. Don't shrink. Let it move through you like wind through trees. And smile. Because even if he doesn't know it yet, he just reached out to you without even touching his phone. And now stay with me. Because what we're about to talk about next, it's even more unmistakable. When your moods start sinking and your emotional weather mirrors his, that's when things go from magical to magnetic. Number 2, shared emotional states, mirror mood moments. True connection isn't loud. It's felt in the silence, where two souls breathe in the same rhythm, even miles apart. Have you ever had one of those days where out of nowhere your energy dips? You're not sad, you're not tired, nothing's technically wrong, but you feel off, restless, a little heavy, maybe even anxious. And then hours later, boom, you hear from him. Maybe he says, "Rough day." Or you catch it in his voice, in his eyes if you're lucky enough to see them. And suddenly, that shift you felt earlier makes too much sense. That, my friends, is what Jung would call psychic synchronicity, emotional resonance, the invisible handshake between two unconscious minds. You didn't know it logically, but your nervous system did. Or flip the moment. You're both laughing, lighthearted, cracking jokes back and forth like the world doesn't exist. And it feels so good, but you pause, wondering why the energy's so aligned. And then you realize he was already in that state. And somehow, without you even trying, you met him there. This isn't fantasy. This is what happens when two people begin to occupy the same emotional space, without effort, without force. The connection becomes a mirror. When he feels low, you sense it. When you feel expansive, he feels drawn in. Not because you're reading his mind, because you're tuned into the emotional field you both keep adding energy to, whether you realize it or not. And here's where your real feminine power shows up, not in trying to fix it, not in asking what's wrong, but in holding calm presence. You become the safe space he didn't know he needed. You're not chasing, you're not analyzing, you're anchoring, because real connection isn't about matching moods, it's about offering emotional gravity, the kind that regulates the whole room without raising your voice. And next, we're going deeper into where that connection lives at night, in your dreams. Stay with me. Number 3, dreams that involve him. Dreams are the whispers of the soul when the ego finally falls asleep. Carl Jung didn't just say that, he lived it. Now let me ask you, my friends, have you ever woken up, heart racing, pillow warm, still half inside a dream where he was right there with you? And it wasn't just a flash of his face. No, it felt real, like you were walking beside him, laughing, arguing, touching, maybe even saying the things you've never had the courage to say out loud. You wake up, disoriented, a little breathless, and you ask yourself, what was that? That was your unconscious doing what it does best, telling emotional truths through symbolic language. See, according to Carl Jung, dreams aren't random. They're not just noise. They're the soul speaking in code. And when he shows up in that space, especially when it feels deep, symbolic, or strangely vivid, it's not just about him. It's about what he represents, what your connection with him stirs in you, what hasn't been fully processed, what still lingers. He might appear as himself, or maybe he shows up doing something completely strange, like handing you a key or standing in the rain saying nothing. But the emotion in those moments, that's the truth. Dreams don't lie, they just disguise themselves as stories. And if your connection is real, if the bond carries emotional weight, then he might be dreaming about you too, even if he doesn't tell you, even if he forgets the moment he wakes up, because the unconscious stores what the conscious mind can't always handle, and it'll find a way to play it back again and again until the message is felt. So what do you do when this happens? You don't pour your heart out. You don't text him a dream diary. You keep it light, magnetic, playfully mysterious. You say, you were in my dream last night, felt oddly peaceful. Then pause, let him lean in, let the weight of those words pull him in like gravity, because men remember mystery. They lean into the unseen, especially when it shows up wrapped in feminine presence, not pressure. And next, we're stepping out of the dream world and back into the waking signs, like when his name shows up where it shouldn't. Stay with me. Number 4, recurring symbols, names, songs. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. Have you ever been scrolling through your playlist and a song that reminds you of him, your song, or the one that played during that unforgettable night just appears out of nowhere? Or maybe you're walking down the street, lost in your own world, and you glance up, and there it is, his name, on a billboard, in a headline, on the back of a passing delivery truck, and you freeze because deep down you were already thinking about him. That's not just your mind playing tricks on you, that's synchronicity. Carl Jung defined synchronicity as the coming together of events in a way that is meaningful to the observer, even if they seem unrelated in time or space. In other words, it's your internal world being mirrored by your external one, not because you imagined it, but because your energy is tuned to a specific frequency, and the universe is echoing back. You miss him, and suddenly the universe starts whispering his name. You think of him, and your favorite show drops a line he once said to you word for word. A mutual friend mentions him in passing without knowing you've been replaying your last conversation on loop in your head. Now here's where you might panic. You might think, am I going crazy? Am I reading too much into this? And let me stop you right there, my friends. No, you're not. You're not obsessed. You're just attuned. Because when energy between two people is unresolved, whether it's love, tension, desire, or confusion, it doesn't disappear. It ripples. It sends out signals. And sometimes those signals find their way into your field, not to torment you, but to validate you, to remind you that what you felt was real, that something is still moving beneath the surface. Now listen carefully. Your magnetic move here is not to react, not to spiral or chase or text him with, OMG, I just saw your name. No. Your power move is to receive the sign and stay grounded. Smile, trust, know that you're resonating. Because when you can receive synchronicity without needing to control the outcome, you step into the highest form of feminine energy, presence without pressure. So the next time his name shows up right when your chest tightens with longing, or that song plays just as you wonder if he still thinks about you, don't run from it. Receive it, let it land, and then carry on like the woman who knows the universe is already working in her favor. And where we're headed next, that's the moment you think of him, and he reaches out first. Stay with me. Number 5, you think of him and he contacts you. When the connection is real, distance doesn't matter and timing isn't random. You ever reach for your phone, no intention to text, just a reflex, and there it is. His name, his message, at that exact moment, no typing, no draft, no hesitation, just perfect timing, and you sit there for a second, almost laughing at how precise it is, almost scared to admit how seen you feel. That, my friends, is not luck. That's not coincidence. That's emotional resonance crossing the veil of logic and slipping into action. Carl Jung would tell you this is the emotional field in motion. When two people are unconsciously linked, when their connection isn't just mental or physical but energetic, they start to act as antennas for each other's thoughts. He may not know why he's reaching out. He just feels the pull. Something nudges him. Something unspoken says, "Text her now." And he listens, without even knowing what moved him. You know what moved him? You did. Not because you said anything, not because you posted a thirst trap or dropped a hint, but because your energy, your memory, your emotional imprint showed up in his field like a whisper, and it was strong enough to bypass fear, logic, and ego. Now let's talk about your move in this moment. You might want to say everything, to let it all pour out, how you were just thinking of him, how it felt like fate. But here's your magnetic power play. Keep it light, keep it confident, keep it feminine. Smile, maybe even laugh to yourself a little. Then type, "You always text at the right time." That's it. No over-explaining, no dramatics, just presence, just softness wrapped in self-trust. Because when you react with calm confidence instead of emotional urgency, you give the moment room to breathe. You leave him wondering how you always seem so composed, so in flow, so unbothered. And that, right there, is unforgettable. Men don't crave women who react. They remember women who respond with grace. And this is where it gets really interesting, because next we're diving into the silence, the kind that doesn't feel empty, but full. Stay with me. Number 6, silence that feels full. Silence isn't the absence of connection. It's the space where connection breathes. You haven't heard from him, no messages, no missed calls, no casual likes or story replies, just nothing. But somehow it doesn't feel like nothing, does it? There's a tension in the air, a whisper between the spaces. Your body is calm, but your intuition, it's wide awake. You feel a presence that hasn't gone anywhere. You catch yourself thinking, why does it feel like he's still here, even in his silence? Because maybe he is. Carl Jung said the unconscious doesn't rely on words. It doesn't text. It doesn't call. It speaks through feelings, through symbols, through what's not being said. So when you feel a kind of emotional pressure in the quiet, when you sense a weight that hasn't been released, it's not fantasy. It's energetic residue. It's emotional gravity that hasn't found closure yet. Or maybe doesn't want to. And here's the thing, my friends, this kind of silence doesn't come from disinterest. It often comes from conflict, inner resistance, unspoken longing, words that are too heavy for him to carry to you, so they stay floating in the space between. But just because he's not speaking doesn't mean he's not feeling. He might be thinking of you every morning and battling the part of himself that's scared to reach out. He might be wrestling with desire, regret, confusion, hope, and all of it is echoing through the very silence you keep feeling in your chest. And what do most women do in this moment? They rush to fill the space. They send the message. They break the quiet just to prove the connection is still alive. But here's your magnetic move. Don't chase the noise. Hold the silence. Let it do its sacred work. Because your stillness is not empty. It's powerful. It says, I trust the energy more than the ego. It says, I don't need constant contact to know something real is here. And believe me, he feels it, even if he doesn't respond, even if he doesn't understand it, because silence carries weight, the kind that doesn't scream but lingers. So hold your power, sit in your knowing. Let your calm be the mirror that reflects what he's not ready to face yet. Because when you can stand in silence without crumbling, that's the moment you become unforgettable. And up next, we're stepping into those eerie moments when you sense him right before he comes back. Stay with me. Number 7, feeling his presence physically. Sometimes the body remembers what the mind tries to forget, And my friends, when that memory shows up, it doesn't knock, it enters. You're alone, not thinking of anything in particular, maybe folding laundry, sipping tea, staring at the sky. And suddenly, you feel him. Not just a passing thought, not just a flicker in your mind, but in your body. A wave, a presence, a quickening in your breath, goosebumps across your skin, a sudden drop in your stomach, or a flush of warmth rising through your chest. It's not a memory, it's not a fantasy, it's him. And before your logical brain jumps in to label it as silly or obsessive, let me bring in some truth. Carl Jung talked about how the unconscious doesn't just live in the mind, it's stored in the body, in what we now call somatic memory. So when you feel someone physically, when your body responds without any visible cause, that's emotional imprint. You shared something real, and your nervous system remembers it. He doesn't have to be standing beside you for your body to respond like he is. That memory, it's not just mental, it's muscle, it's cellular, it's stored deep in your emotional skin. Now here's the trick, don't resist it, don't panic, don't wonder if you're crazy. Let it move through you, smile, breathe. Say to yourself, I'm remembering something true. Not because you're stuck, but because your heart's radar still knows how to pick up his signal. And maybe, just maybe, it's not just your body reacting. Maybe he's thinking of you so vividly, so emotionally, that the energy travels, projects, and lands. We are more than physical creatures. We are resonance. We are memory in motion. And when a man is connected to you at that level, even if he doesn't understand it, his emotional imprint lives on inside you. Sometimes through tension, sometimes through desire, sometimes through a silence that buzzes with everything left unsaid. But here's the beauty, my friends. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't need to decode or control it. Your power is in feeling it and owning it with grace, with calm, with that quiet smile that says, yeah, I feel you, and I'm still good. Because that's what feminine magnetism really is. It's not about reaching, it's about receiving. And next, we're going to talk about those freaky little moments when you both feel it at the same time. The mirror moods, the emotional twin flame kind of stuff. Stay with me. Number 8, knowing he'll reach out, and he does. Intuition is the soul's GPS. It whispers the destination before the map even loads. Tell me if this has ever happened to you. You're minding your own business, doing your thing, not even checking your phone obsessively anymore. Maybe you finally surrendered a little, let go of the pressure. And then, like a slow burning thought rising from deep within, you just know he's going to come back. Not hope, not desperate wishing, a knowing, like something subtle has shifted in the air, like a light somewhere turned back on, like the tether that felt loose has suddenly grown warm again. And then, days later, a message, a call, a random reaction to your story. He's there, exactly when you felt he would be. No explanation, no prompt, no warning. Carl Jung called this the perspective function of the unconscious, meaning your deeper mind, your soul-level awareness, often senses what's coming before it ever shows up in the physical world. Energy arrives before form, emotion arrives before language. So when you feel him before he returns, it's not magic, my friends. It's the emotional blueprint showing up in advance of reality. It's your body, your spirit, picking up on the frequency he's sending out, even if he hasn't acted on it yet. Even if he doesn't understand why you're suddenly in his dreams or why he keeps opening your chat window and closing it again. And here's where your power lives. Don't just sit there waiting. Prepare. Not for him, but for you. Prepare emotionally. Step back into the woman you want him to feel when he comes close again. The grounded one, the lit from within one. Not the one who waited by the phone, but the one who trusted herself enough to keep glowing. You see, when he comes back, and if your gut is right, he'll walk into the emotional atmosphere you've built. So ask yourself, is it calm? Is it radiant? Is it open without begging? Soft without sacrificing? Because that's what leaves a mark. Not the message you send, but the energy he feels when he steps back into your orbit. He won't remember the timeline. He'll remember the feeling of returning to you. And next, we're going even deeper. The way his energy calms or completely shakes you even in his absence. That's the bond most people try to fake, but you already feel. Stay with me. Number 9, his energy calms or disturbs you without words. Some people enter your life quietly and rearrange the furniture of your soul. He's not in the room, he hasn't texted, but just the thought of him calms you or completely rattles you. One memory, one scent, 1 second of stillness, and your whole emotional climate shifts. And you don't know why. Carl Jung would tell you it's because emotional bonds, especially unresolved ones, don't leave when people do. They imprint, they settle in the unconscious, and from there, they ripple through your body like echoes in a canyon. If his energy soothes you, it's because part of you still feels safe in the space you once shared. If it disturbs you, it's because something's still unfinished. But either way, it's real. Your move, don't numb it, don't chase it, don't dramatize it, and just pause and ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Not about him, but about you, because emotions are teachers, not enemies. And that inner reaction, it's your soul showing you where healing, clarity, or truth is still waiting. When you learn to use his energy for insight instead of reaction, that's when you stop orbiting around someone else and start returning to your center. And that center, that's where real magnetism begins. Stay with me. So here's what all of this comes down to, my friends. When the connection is real, it doesn't need constant proof. It speaks in energy, in timing, in silence. These signs, they're not fantasies. They're reminders that your soul is wiser than your mind. So trust what you feel, but stay rooted in your worth. Let your presence do the talking long before your words ever do. If this resonated with you, press that like button, subscribe for more soul-deep content, and share this with a sister who feels things others can't explain. Stay grounded, stay glowing, and I'll see you in the next one.